Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. I'm going to give you a quick overview of what's happening in the stock market today. Today is July 8th, 2020. I also want to remind everybody that tonight is the first night of the Stock Option Investing Masterclass. If you'd like to learn how stock option investing works and you want to learn it in a really fun way, in an exciting way, then you should join us. Go to drboycemasterclass.com. We start tonight at 8 p.m. That's drboycemasterclass.com. So let me hop in here and give you some updates as far as an overview of what's going on right now. The market is up, which is a good thing. It looks like the Dow is up by about 208 points. The big leaders in all of this are the tech stocks, Apple and Microsoft. Netflix and Alphabet also. Apple and Microsoft gained 2% approximately. Netflix and Alphabet gained a little bit less than 1%. I like those companies because they're just solid companies. I invest heavily in Apple. All four of those companies, I just consistently buy into them because their models are just so solid, and I have a lot of respect for the way they do business. Then there are also these recovery companies that I've always really liked. Well, not all of them, but there's Carnival, Norwegian Cruise Lines, Royal Caribbean. They tended to do well. And it's kind of strange because, the COVID numbers are getting worse, right? The COVID numbers, are growing, but the recovery stocks are doing better. And I think that's because you've got these competing headwinds where, it's like running against the wind. The wind isn't going to stop you, but the wind slows you down. So the COVID, and those numbers, that's the wind. And the stock market is like the runner in the wind. And the stock market and the economy are just determined to move forward. People are determined to reopen. People want to reopen schools. Schools are a big deal. If they don't reopen schools, then that's going to cause an economic damper because parents need schools basically for babysitting. We know that, right? Really, that's just what it is, right? So effectively, there's just kind of this competing sort of theory about, how much these new numbers in this second wave, what has been legitimately confirmed as a second wave, how that's going to slow down the economy, and what I always look at is the percentage of the population that's affected. So if you have 131,000 deaths, that's a big number by itself, but you have to put it into proper context that there are 331 million people in this country. So 1% of the country is 3.3 million people. So if you take 1% of the country and you take that 1% and divide it by 10, you get 330,000. So you have to divide it by about 30. So you take 1%, divide by 30, and that's the number of people that died. The majority of those individuals are over the age of 75, and that's why the world isn't really sort of freaking out and freezing up, over the COVID numbers. I personally think that it's just going to keep spreading. I believe millions of people have already gotten it and overcame it, didn't even know they had it, and it's just going to be there, and so it is what it is. So anyway, moving on. In terms of the other economically interesting stories that are popping off, Warren Buffett has given away another $2.9 billion, which, just what's $2.9 billion between friends. His total donations since 2006 have been about $37 billion. So he's just a guy that's determined to give away a lot of his money. Donald Trump is fighting to get the schools open. So he is threatening to cut funding for schools that don't open. So that's going to be interesting. No comment on that. I know politics is very divisive in this country right now, so I'm not going to worry about that. Brooks Brothers just filed for bankruptcy, which sucks and is sad because Brooks Brothers, those suits are really cool. But, if you notice, Brooks Brothers, they depend on having these stores that you can walk into and try on the suit. Like, you try on the Brooks Brothers suit, and that makes you willing to pay whatever crazy price they put on the suit. So you can imagine why Brooks Brothers would be declaring bankruptcy. But that doesn't mean the company's going to die. It just means that the company is going to restructure itself. So bankruptcy is not a death sentence. So don't forget that. And so you've kind of got the COVID conversation that's still going on. It's never going to go away. I'm buying a lot of assets, just holding on, waiting for the day when they announce they have a vaccine that works. Because I already firmly believe that you're going to see massive growth in the stock market. 8 million jobs have been created in the last 2 or 3 months. And so, that's some improvement. But, at the same time, that's kind of short-lived because a lot of this, these unemployment benefits are going to run out. Company stimulus is going to run out. Right now, in terms of a stimulus update, Congress is talking about possibly writing another set of stimulus checks, which they should. They should help small businesses and also individuals, in families and things like that. And it's supposed to be pretty generous. But I think one of their great challenges now is that also, when you make the unemployment money too good, people don't want to go back to work. Now, I don't blame you. I mean, if the unemployment's treating you well and you don't want to go back, then, y'all know me. I'm not a fan of the corporate plantation anyway. But just in terms of economic movement, if it's hard to get people to go back to work, then, that's not exactly going to help the economy. So, it's right now it's kind of a waiting game. Some people are predicting that there's going to be this major collapse or major market correction over the summer and into the fall. I don't believe that. I believe that the Fed is just so committed to propping up markets that I just don't think I just think they're going to make that the top priority. And I told you guys, I think that you got to understand this country in terms of knowing what the priorities are, where they put the resources, and they put the resources behind the markets. I didn't make the rules. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying that's what it is. So if you're investing consistently, then your wealth is going to be connected to their wealth, and they're going to take care of themselves. So that's what's really important. And also remember that if this virus situation, was as deadly as some people believe, I would expect that, among members of Congress, who are exposed to thousands of people. They're exposed to probably 100 times more people than you are, and many of them are old. Many of them, I don't know what the average age of a member of Congress is, but let me look it up. Let me see if I can Google it. What's the average age of a congressman? The average age of a member of Congress is 57.8 years old. The average age of a senator is 61.8 years old. And the oldest person in Congress is Dianne Feinstein. Is she still in the Senate? No way. Yeah. She was born in 1933. What year? Let me do the math. What's 1933? And 2003. So she was 70 in 2003. Holy crap. Okay, so she's about 87 years old. No disrespect, but so my thought was, I said, I remember thinking one of them has to die. I mean, one of them, like at least one senator should be dead. If it's really just ravaging the country and it's killing senior citizens first, God bless them. I want them to stay safe. But, I would expect at least one or two senators to have been, done, gone, or one or two A-list celebrities, and I just didn't see that. It's not like I was hoping to see it. It's not like I believed everything was just a big hoax, but it just kind of said, okay, this is a thing that's present and it's real, but it's almost like watching the news. Anybody ever watch the news in like a city like New York, where every day they tell you about 5 or 6 people that got murdered for no reason, and you really think that you might get killed because you're seeing it every day? They're taking out of 10 million people, they're taking the most unlucky 5 people and putting that on the news. And you're connecting with that. You're thinking that could be me. Oh my God, that could be me. I could also be killed walking to the grocery store. So you carry a knife on your way to the grocery store because you're thinking people get killed walking to the grocery store. But what they don't talk about is the fact that 99.99999% of all people who walk to the grocery store, we're perfectly safe and perfectly fine. So, as I think about the 0.001% of the population that's been killed from the virus, I think about the 99.99% or whatever that did not die, that did not get killed, right? So, some people find that to be offensive, but I don't. My goal is not to make you feel good. My goal is to tell you the truth. So that's what I'm saying. Also, remember, the stock market is a long-term leading indicator, which means the stock market isn't really looking at, what's going on right now. The stock market is looking at what's going to happen over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So when you look at strong companies like Google or Alphabet, actually, the parent company of Google, or you look at strong companies like Microsoft, you're just thinking, okay, this is a blip in the screen. This is a bad year. But, you're not investing for the year. You're investing long term. And also that makes your investment strategy different from a fund manager who has to get a great return this year in order to keep their job. So one of the flaws of Wall Street, one of the setbacks in terms of ideology is that they're very, very, very short term. They're thinking, they're trading, they're trying to make money this month, this year. I encourage you to consider, or at least I'll say this is not investment advice, this is just education conversation, but I personally am thinking about the next decade. I'm thinking about this generation. And if I know for a fact that if I buy a bunch of different stocks and I consistently invest and I hold those stocks for 20 years or I hold them until I'm old, I'm going to have a whole lot more wealth than I have right now, and that's why I invest. So anyway, that's it, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button on your way out. What's up on Instagram? My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins, and also we have an Instagram for the Black Financial Channel. So follow the Black Financial Channel on Instagram. You can subscribe at theblackfinancialchannel.com. And lastly, if you want to join the Options Investing Masterclass or any masterclass that we have a lot of we have a masterclass that gets launched maybe once every 6 to 8 weeks on different topics. The Option Investing Masterclass can be found at drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. So take care, guys. Have a good day, and I hope that this conversation was beneficial to you, and I want you and your family to be wealthy. So God bless you. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.